Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. And today we're going to look at a story that's really both heartbreaking and inspiring at the same time. The story of Jamie Kloss.
Yeah.
So picture this. You're 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You live in a seemingly peaceful town
Right.
called Barron, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And life is, pretty normal
Yeah.
until one October day
Yeah.
in 2018 when everything changes
Yeah.
in the worst possible way.
For sure.
Yeah.
What really grabs you about this case, I think, is how it shows, how dark people can be,
Right.
but also how strong the human spirit can be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So Jamie's parents, Jim and Denise, were murdered in their own home.
Right.
And Jamie just vanished.
Mm-hmm.
And for 88 days,
Yeah.
everyone was wondering, where is Jamie Kloss?
And the details of that night are just chilling.
Yeah.
You know, Jake Patterson, 21 years old,
Right.
no criminal record.
Yeah.
He's the one who really broke the peace in that town.
Yeah.
Broke into the Kloss home at night,
Right.
and Jim was shot right there at the front door.
Yeah, it's just awful. And you can practically hear the fear in Denise's voice
Yeah.
when she called 911,
Right.
barricaded in the bathroom with Jamie.
Yeah.
That call was cut off.
Oh, wow.
And it's just a
Hmm.
chilling reminder of how terrifying that must have been.
Yeah, it really makes you think.
Yeah.
Evil can look so ordinary.
Yeah.
I mean, there were no warning signs with this guy.
Yeah.
Nothing to make you think he could do something like this.
Yeah, it's scary.
That's what's really
It
disturbing.
makes you think, what goes on in the mind of someone like that?
Right.
What makes a seemingly normal person do something so violent?
That's the question investigators and experts have been asking. I
Yeah.
mean, we try to find motives and explanations for these things,
Right.
but sometimes there just aren't any clear answers.
Yeah, I guess so.
Huh.
So for 88 days, Jamie's family and friends, and really the whole community, were just waiting.
Right.
The searches were massive,
Yeah.
but every lead went nowhere.
Yep.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
That constant fear,
Yeah.
but also the hope that she was still alive.
The effect on the whole community was huge.
Yeah.
I mean, this wasn't just a crime. It was like
Yeah.
a trauma that shook everyone.
Right.
Barron became this place of sadness, but also this determination to find Jamie.
Yeah. And then, on a freezing January day in 2019, about an hour from Barron,
Yeah.
the impossible happened.
Yeah.
Jamie escaped.
Wow.
It was all thanks to a chance meeting with this woman, Jeannie Nutter.
Okay.
She was a retired therapist,
Mhm.
out walking her dog.
So think about this. You're out for a walk on a cold winter day,
Yeah.
and you see this young girl. She's
Yeah.
scared, and you know right away who it is.
Oh, wow.
It's that missing girl from the news. What do you do?
Oh, gosh, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
The shock,
Right.
the disbelief,
Mm-hmm.
but also knowing you have to act fast.
Yeah, you have to be careful, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, what Jeannie did was amazing.
Right.
She didn't panic at all. She took Jamie straight to a neighbor's house
What?
because she knew she couldn't risk taking her back to her own cabin.
Yeah.
What if Patterson was there
Right.
waiting?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
It's incredible how people can be so brave in a crisis.
I know, it's amazing.
And Jamie, even though she was terrified,
Right.
she gave Jeannie really important information.
Okay.
She told her the guy's name,
Right.
his car,
Yeah.
everything.
Wow.
And that led directly to his arrest.
It's like Jamie knew this was her chance, not just to get away,
Right.
but to stop him from hurting anyone else.
Yeah, and she was so brave.
Yeah.
She wasn't just a victim.
Right.
She helped save herself. It shows how resilient she is.
Absolutely.
And what a strong character she has. I
Yeah.
mean, to go through something like that
Right.
and still be able to think clearly,
Yeah.
it's just amazing.
That's sure.
You know?
Yeah.
It's amazing how fast they caught him. Like within hours of Jamie getting away. They found him driving that red car she described.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's chilling how planned out everything was.
I know. It really shows how everyone came together.
Yeah.
The search parties,
Yeah.
Jeannie finding her, the police.
It really does.
Everyone wanted her home.
Yeah, and we can't forget how strong Jamie was through all of this.
Right.
88 days held captive,
Yeah.
going through something nobody should ever have to,
Right.
and she never gave up.
Right.
She got away,
Yeah.
and she helped catch the guy who took her.
It's incredible.
It really is.
When you think about those 88 days,
Yeah.
it's hard to even imagine
Oh, no.
what she must have gone through.
Right.
The trauma.
Yeah.
It's just,
It's hard to come back from something like that.
yeah.
Think about it.
Right.
Jamie comes back to a world that's both familiar and totally strange.
Oh, yeah.
Everything must have brought back memories.
Yeah. Like everything has moved on,
Right.
but she's stuck back there
Right.
With this experience, no one else understands.
And that's why the community support was so important.
Yeah.
Think about seeing all those familiar faces.
Right.
Getting hugs from people who care.
Yeah.
It must have been a huge relief.
Oh, absolutely. The pictures of her coming home are so powerful.
I know.
Everyone was cheering.
Yeah.
There were signs welcoming her back.
Mm-hmm.
The whole town was just so relieved.
Yeah, you can just feel it.
It shows how much we need each other.
Right.
Especially after something like that.
Yeah, that feeling of belonging.
Right.
After all that isolation.
Yeah.
It's so important.
But we have to remember that everyone heals differently.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
What works for one person might not work for another.
Right.
Getting back to normal isn't easy.
No.
And it's different for everyone.
Yeah, so while community support is important,
Absolutely.
we also have to respect people's space.
Yeah.
And their boundaries.
Right.
Trauma recovery is personal. Yeah.
It's about figuring out what works for you.
Therapy, support groups,
Yeah.
maybe just spending time with loved ones, whatever helps.
It's about letting yourself grieve,
Mm-hmm.
dealing with the trauma at your own pace,
Yeah.
and finding what brings you joy again.
And Jamie's story shows us that healing isn't about forgetting what happened.
Right.
It's about making it part of your story
Right.
in a way that lets you move forward.
Yeah.
It's about finding strength in your vulnerability
Yeah.
and realizing that your scars show how resilient you are.
Yeah. It makes you think about the media, too,
Oh, yeah.
and how they cover these kinds of cases.
Right.
It's hard to balance keeping the public informed
Mm-hmm.
with protecting the victim.
Yeah, you don't want to re-traumatize them.
Right.
Sadly, we've seen cases where the media just wants a sensational story.
Yeah.
They don't think about the person involved.
It's like they're making the trauma happen all over again.
Exactly.
All those pictures and details everywhere.
Yeah, you can't escape it.
That's why responsible reporting is so important. You have to put the victim's well-being first.
Yeah.
Respect their privacy.
Right.
Focus on their strength,
Yeah.
not on making the story more dramatic than it already is.
Right, because behind every headline, there's a real person who's going through something incredibly difficult.
Jamie's case also makes us think about the bigger picture.
Yeah.
It forces us to face some hard truths
Right.
about violence,
Mm-hmm.
about how vulnerable kids are,
Yeah.
about what we need to do to prevent this from happening.
It reminds us that these things happen everywhere.
Yeah, not just in some faraway place, but right here in our communities.
It's a call to action.
Absolutely.
To make a world where stories like Jamie's don't happen.
It's about fighting for stronger laws to protect children,
Yeah.
getting resources for victims and their families,
Right.
and creating a culture where people aren't afraid to speak up
Yeah.
if they see something wrong
Right.
or if they need help themselves,
We need to move from silence to support.
where everyone's safety matters.
And Jamie's case makes us think about what a hero really is.
Oh, yeah.
We usually think of heroes as these amazing people who do extraordinary things,
Yeah.
but Jamie's heroism was in the everyday things she did.
Right.
Her strength,
Yeah.
her determination,
Yeah.
her refusal to give up.
Yeah.
That's what makes her story so inspiring.
Her bravery wasn't about some big dramatic act.
Right.
It was about enduring something horrible,
Yeah.
taking her chance when she got it, and speaking out to help catch the guy who took her.
Sometimes heroism is quiet.
Yeah.
It's the courage to keep going when you want to give up,
Right.
to find hope in the darkest places.
And that kind of courage is contagious.
Absolutely.
It inspires us to look for the heroes all around us.
Yeah.
The everyday people who show strength and kindness when things are tough. It's about realizing we can all make a difference.
Right.
We can all be there for each other.
Yeah. Even small things can have a big impact.
Before we move on, I want to go back to something we talked about earlier.
Okay.
The fact that we don't really know why Jake Patterson did this.
It's something that hangs over the whole case.
Yeah.
It's hard to understand why someone would be so cruel,
I know.
especially with no clear reason.
It's unsettling
Yeah.
to think someone could plan something so awful
Right.
and then just
Yeah.
not have a reason for it.
And while we might never know why he did it,
Yeah.
we can't let that make us forget what happened or
Right.
minimize the pain he caused.
It shows us that sometimes there just isn't an explanation for evil.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just exists,
Right.
and we have to face it,
Mhm.
fight for justice, and
Yeah.
support the people who were hurt. But if we only focus on the bad guy,
Yeah.
we forget about the survivor.
Right.
Jamie's story isn't just about what happened to her.
Right.
It's about her courage,
Yeah.
her hope,
Yeah.
and the future she's building for herself.
It's about showing that trauma doesn't have to define you.
You can be a victim,
Yeah.
but you can also be so much more than that.
Right.
And that's what it comes down to. Right, finding that strength
Yeah.
even when things are really bad.
Right.
Choosing hope even when it's hard to see.
It makes you think that, what can we learn from this?
Right.
It's easy to focus on the bad stuff.
Yeah.
How random and senseless it all seems.
Right.
But is there anything we can actually do to protect ourselves?
Yeah. That's something we all think about.
Right.
Especially after hearing a story like this.
Yeah.
There's no easy answer.
Right.
But I think Jamie's story gives us some clues.
Oh, okay.
It shows how important it is to be aware,
Yeah.
to pay attention to what's happening around you,
Right.
and to trust your gut feeling.
So not being afraid, but just being alert
Yeah,
if something feels off.
exactly.
It's about knowing how to stay safe and teaching our kids to do the same without making them paranoid.
Right.
It's tough though, right?
It is. How do you talk to your kids about this stuff?
Yeah.
In a way they understand,
Right.
but without scaring them.
You have to find that balance.
Yeah, I think it's about talking openly, encouraging them to trust their instincts,
Right.
and making sure they know who to ask for help
Absolutely.
if ever needed.
And it's not just about our own families.
Right.
It's about looking out for each other.
Yeah.
Being willing to step in if we see something wrong.
Like Jeannie did.
Exactly.
Just walking her dog.
Yeah, she was paying attention,
Yeah.
trusted her gut,
Right.
and acted fast.
And that made all the difference.
It shows that anyone can make a difference.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a superhero.
Right.
Sometimes it's just about being there,
Yeah.
noticing what's happening, and being willing to help.
But I think Jamie's story also shows something even deeper
Yeah,
about how resilient people can be.
right.
She went through so much,
I know.
but she never lost hope.
It's inspiring.
Yeah, it reminds us that even in the darkest times,
Right.
there's always that strength inside us.
Yeah, and that strength grows when we connect with others,
Right.
when we have people who support us.
Yeah, Jamie's community really came together for her.
They did.
It helped her in so many ways.
Yeah. It shows how powerful it can be
Yeah.
to have people who care about you.
It reminds us that we don't have to face hard times alone.
Right.
We're meant to be connected,
Yeah.
to support each other. Sometimes just listening to someone or giving them a hug
Right.
can make a huge difference.
And thinking about Jamie's story,
Yeah.
it makes us rethink what it means to be a hero.
Right, because we usually think of heroes as these big, strong figures
Yeah.
who do amazing things. But Jamie's heroism was in the small things.
Yeah.
Her everyday courage, her determination to just keep going.
Even when she felt like giving up.
Yeah, it reminds us that real courage isn't always loud and showy.
Right.
Sometimes it's quiet and strong.
Yeah.
It's that voice inside that says, keep going,
Exactly.
even when it's really hard.
And that kind of courage
Yeah.
can inspire others too.
Yeah, it reminds us that even in the darkest times, there's always some light.
Both within ourselves
Yeah.
and in the people around us.
Jamie Kloss's story really shows how strong people can be.
It does.
It gives us hope,
Yeah.
even in a world that can feel pretty dark sometimes.
It's a story that will stay with us.
Yeah.
And it makes us think about how we can be more compassionate,
Right.
more resilient,
Yeah.
and more hopeful in our own lives.
So to everyone listening,
Yeah.
we'll leave you with this question.
Okay.
How could you be more hopeful in your own life?
Right.
How can you be that source of strength and light for others?
Keep thinking about these questions.
Yeah.
Keep exploring.
And keep diving deep.
Till next time.
Thanks for listening, everyone.